guys, it's Janet Wakeland with RemarkablyCreated.com. In today's One Take Wonder video, we are going to make this really sweet little doggy treat. Every month, I hold a virtual training party with my team members, and we like to theme those parties so that we have a focus for business as well as a focus for our creativity. And this month's focus was Furry Friends. We used all of the different animal stamps that we have in the catalog, and we created over 115 different animal-themed projects. We looked at ideas for craft pet projects as well as how to use our business supplies to reach the pet market. So it's really a fun thing that I do, and it enables me to connect with my teammates all over the United States, those that are serving at military bases, APO, and those that are in the U.S. territory. So it's a really fun way of connecting all of us. But anyway, about this treat. What we used was we used the Hot Diggity dog stamp. We used a baker box, and I'll tell you a little secret about that. We did use our wood grain background stamp for the wood look on the roof. We also used cherry cobbler ink, chocolate chip ink, and then early espresso ink. You are going to need some clear blocks to work with the Hot Diggity dog stamp set. I have a piece of early espresso cardstock that is cut 3 inches by 5 inches. We have our decorative tag punch here that's going to create the really cute doggy door. I have some linen thread that we're going to use to create a bow. We have our 4x6 cello bags that we're going to fill with little tiny milk bones. And then that's what I'm using for treats, is nice generic milk bones. Something that pretty much every dog can safely eat, so that's what we wanted to fill that with. So let's go ahead and let's assemble that project together. Oh, and then we have a piece of Whisper white cardstock that we need to create our tag and our sweet little doggy. So what I have, oh my gosh, is I have our baker box here. And there's 2 ways that you can get your hands on the baker box. One, we have this amazing kit that creates really sweet baker boxes that has pom-pom trims and tags and all kinds of other things and clothespins in it. And that's what I chose to use here because I have found that the value of having it pre-cut, pre-scored, and pre-adhered is absolutely an amazing deal. And I can always find something else to do with the pom-pom trim and tags and things like that. Or you can also, we have a baker box framelit that cuts this exact same box, scoring it and everything for you. So what I like to do when I have a scored object is I do like to go over those scores, folding it back and forth in both directions. It just kind of helps all of the elements, and I find the pieces to go together just that much easier. And so we're just going to go ahead and do that here for just a second. We'll just kind of score them all. And the one score on this box that I found that really makes a difference is this score that's up here at the top. That one seems to really make a difference in giving you that flat piece that pops out. So then what you're going to do is you're going to take your paper snips, and this little flap here that's between the 2 rectangular pieces, you're going to snip that off and out of the way. You don't need that. That's where our doggy door is going to go. And then you're going to take your tag punch, and now you'll be able to come in here, and part way up you're just going to create yourself, I always like to shift just kind of look, create a little doggy door, just like that. And now you can go ahead and you can assemble your box. Paper snips come in handy for other things. We can get the little pieces up just like that. And if you're going to be putting something really heavy in, I have found that reinforcing it with tape can be good. So to assemble it, we're going to turn it the other way around. We're going to fold the piece with the adhesive side up in, fold this piece over, and that helps you line it all up, and now you have a box. Here on the bottom, because we don't have that one fold here, this is going to be another one of those where you may really want to reinforce it, but for now, just for the magic of television, we're not going to reinforce our bottom. So we're just going to crisscross our pieces here. There we go. Making sure that our bottom is, this piece is lined up, so everything's lined up nice and flush. And then these pieces, just like the old school milk cartons, come in, and you may need to come in with your finger and kind of help that happen just a little bit. These points come in while the line comes out. So there we go. Oops, I have to get my finger up in there. There you go. So you have your little box, and again, you're going to want to reinforce that piece right here. But now, before you seal it, you're going to want to take your 4x6 bag, And you could also use a Ziploc snack bag or something like that. I just like the clear look of our 4x6 cello bags, and you get 50 of them, so they go a long way. And you're going to put your little doggy treats in there, and we're just going to come back in here, and now we can close it up. You can either use your tear and tape, or I'm going to use a stapler in this case. So I've got my little treats showing in the window there, and now we need to create our elements. So let's start first with our roof and our early espresso ink pad. When you're working with the big background stamps, I like to keep them rubber side up. It's kind of hard to pick up that whole big stamp. And that way too I can see that I've inked the whole thing up. So I've got ink all over the whole thing. Now I'm going to take my roof and I'm going to lay it right down on top. And then a great way to keep your hands clean is to work with the 11x17 grid paper that's sold in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. Lots of great uses. Just fold it over and give it a nice good rub, just like that. And then we can just flick that piece off, set that aside, and I'll take that to the sink and wash it. And now we can go ahead and we can fold that in half. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an X-Acto knife. I do have a self-healing mat under here. So you want to make sure that you have something that you can cut on with your X-Acto knife. And I'm just going to create a slice right along that fold that I just created. And what that's going to do is that's going to slip right over the top of our baker's box, giving us the little roof of our cute little dog house, just like so. And so now I need to create our dog and I need to create our little tag for this project. This set has a couple of different heads and a couple of different bodies that you can mix and match. I personally like the set that doesn't, the body that has the little sweater on it. So let's go ahead and pull that, and then this sweet little face right here. And I'm going to stamp mine separate images here. And we're just going to stamp that down. So I've got his nice little body, and I'll take that off. I'll wash that in a few minutes. And now we've got his head. And I stamped an image over here on this piece of paper, so now I can practice to see where it's at and how it's going to line up. And that's one of the benefits of being able to see through the clear blocks. And now I've got his sweet little head, his sweet little body there. And now I want to color his sweater. So we're going to go ahead and give our ink pad just a little bit of a squeeze, transferring some of the ink to the surface. Have our aqua painters. They're sold in a set of 2 with 2 different brush tips on them. Squeeze it just a little bit. I happen to have water in this one. And just make sure how dark it is that I have it. And now I'm just going to color his sweater. Aqua painters are nice because it's like having a whole bunch of markers, and you just simply have the markers, or excuse me, the ink pens and ink pads. Oh my goodness gracious, Janet. The ink pads and an aqua painter, and it's like having a full set of markers and ink pads. So you have a little bit of both, and that's a little bit darker than I wanted. Just refer to the finished project so you can see how really cute it is. And we'll just do his little pink nose, and we'll just come in here with a little bit of pink. And I can actually come in here and make his face a little tan. A little lighter. Just kind of watercolor him a little bit. So we've just got our little guy going on. Now there is not a framelit before you ask or a punch to match this. There's just too many shapes to pick and choose. And so you would just simply go ahead and you would cut it out with your scissors. And then on the same piece of scrap paper, you can go ahead and we can stamp the verse. And we have the verse just forever, or just for you rather, for you. Let me try to say that right. And I'm just going to freehand cut that. I know a couple of you are going, oh, it's okay. Some of you cut a lot better than you realize that you do. We'll just notch that in just a little bit. And we'll have our adhesive. And so that would go over here on the roof. And then I would just take and I would create a bow. Let's just take our linen thread. It looked kind of, you know, fuzzy like animal fur or something like that. And let's grab our ribbon scissors. And sorry if you can hear my dogs barking in the background. Usually they're pretty quiet while I'm doing these videos, but if you can hear them just a little bit, I apologize. Something has them fired up. Most likely my husband teasing them. So we've got that little piece on there. So you've got your little tag, you've got that, you've got your roof, And then the last thing that we would do is add our sweet little dog to the front of the box. So great projects again if you are looking to do some kind of a fundraiser to help your local pet shelters, if you're looking for a fun little craft for vendor fairs that you do, and sometimes it's just fun to do a pet themed event with your customers. Or if you have a cute little pet-themed birthday party, instead of doggy treats, obviously you could fill this with candy or whatever. I know that when my kids were little, they loved animals. They still do. And so a pet-themed party would have been a lot of fun for them to have. So have fun creating your little dog houses with our Baker Box, and look for all of the supplies. You can order them at remarkablycreated.com. Thanks, guys.